Hello, ladies, gentlemen, whatever else you want to call yourself. I have people. I have found them. They were out wandering in the wilderness. Poor wilderness. Hi, you two. We have Nomad and we have Doku. And we're doing things differently today. All yours, Nomad.
So what you're telling us is you're trying to give us cancer, is what you're telling us.
You had an opinion. Let's just leave it at that. He had a definite opinion. You did, actually. I want to point out that's not a bad idea with your music, mate. I like that.
Wait, you said negative rants. I am so offended. I do not support negative rants whatsoever. I would never engage in such a thing.
Oh, talking about negative rants, Goku, Batman actually done the green thing for the stream. So as we've got the icon done, I'll send the picture to you in a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Oh. Mhm. Oh yeah, I'm still telling you, flamethrowers will deal with a lot of these problems. Mhm. It's so scary. Um, this may take me a while. Pathetic, isn't it? I know. Yeah. Oof.
He's going to threaten to have some very harsh words with you at some point in the possible future. It's very tough.
Doku DMs. Yeah. How'd that work again?
If you keep trying to assault people in the subway system, I swear I'm going to enforce the law against you. You listen to me now. Oh.
Right. Oh, to be honest, how scary would they have to be to actually move that creature? Oh, no, no, dude. You might want to make sure that the image has been blanked over at the right place. You really do. Oh, dear. Oof.
I mean, it's not like I need an excuse to drink, but I appreciate it.
That is one really scary creature.
So, how much money do you think Caterpillar could make if you contracted them out? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Yeah. I wonder why.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the point, right?
Mhm.
I believe we would call these vagabonds. So I'm
Oh.
going to kindly and compassionately tell you to move your ass. Okay. It, I find this very odd. Or it's like we're gonna be kind and compassionate and move these people. Okay, how so?
Yep.
Well, so I'm curious. Like,
Yeah.
well, and that's the thing. I'm curious. They want to talk about being kind and compassionate. Like, okay, what are you actually gonna do? Oh, we're gonna tell them to move. We're gonna tell them to leave. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Like, it. I don't see how this is any more than lip service.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Hmm.
I mean, I might be considered an alcoholic by most standards. At least I still put a roof over my head. Like we're talking about people where it's not just an addiction to drugs or alcohol. Like they cannot take care of themselves, or they either that or they choose to be homeless or vagabond. And there's quite a few people who just choose to live that lifestyle because for whatever reason it's appealing to them. So
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, at that point in time, Well, and so that's kind of my question. Like, I say, oh, the kindness and compassion. It's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, it's just like move off this street corner, go to the next street corner. Like, what are you actually doing? It's just you've been here for too long. Go 5 blocks up the street and do the same shit. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, again, I don't see how this is anything more than somebody trying to play lip service for and whatever party they're trying to appeal to, while claiming like we're doing something. Praise me. Uh,
Yeah.
no, you're not doing anything. You're not solving the problem. You're not addressing the problem. You're just forcing them to move because they've been there for too long. I mean, anybody could do that. Like, that's a simple policy to take. Now, sitting down and actually doing something about it, I know this pisses a lot of people off, but yeah, maybe they should be arrested and put into I don't know, jail for a month. Not a week, not 2 weeks, but a month. Well, and again, that's the thing. It's like if well, and again, that's the thing. Like if I'm going to jail and I'm going to jail for a month, uh, I still have access to medical services. I'm going to be fed. I'm going to have shelter. The one thing I'm not going to be doing in jail is sitting there smoking weed and drinking to the point where I can't put a roof over my freaking head and pay my bills. Like it, you're not going to be able to continue with that type of lifestyle. It,
Gentlemen. Sean's asking, is Nomad's mic hooked up? I'm guessing
It's hooked up,
you've got.
but I lowered the mic volume. Is this better now? It's better now.
Apparently, no. Jim actually says you can only hear me and Doku.
Yeah, I think I had my mic was way too low.
Okay. Would you, guys, could you put a 1 in chat if you can hear MC, please?
I'm not MC. I am Nomad.
Okay. No, you exist. You're a real
I've
boy
always
now.
existed. Whether it was a silenced existence or not. But no, what you got to do is you got to round these people up, put them in a work camp. Put them in a mandatory work camp. See, Jim's got it right.
I mean, it's it's no different than like if you got.
You make it for long-term sentences, right? And I know people don't like that, but really, it's the only way you can get out from under what these people are dealing with.
And again, it's no different if you got arrested for anything else. Like, I know people say like, "Oh, you're being inhumane. How dare you like force these people to do this or that against their will?" Blah blah. It's no different than if I got arrested for not paying my taxes. I'd have to essentially deal with the same type of conditions.
Well,
It's not like we're actively targeting people because they're homeless or they're druggies or they're alcoholics or this or that. It's the same way for all people in regards to going against going against societal norms to the point where you're deemed.
Go ahead.
Well, so it's no different than it would be going against what society deems as you being essentially a threat to society. And at this point in time, yeah, you kind of are. You can make that argument. I'm not going to say whether I personally agree with it or disagree with it, but it's the same approach that anybody else would take. But for some reason, there's this weird, touchy-feely thing about, oh, well, they're homeless. They don't know any better. Or they can't do any better. Like, we need to treat them differently. Like, no, I wouldn't be treated any fucking differently if I got pulled over for drunk driving. I'd have to deal with the same fucking thing.
Now, I'd just like to say one thing connected to this, and that is make penal legions great again.
I mean, not necessarily opposed to it, to be honest. And again, like, it's not about like you choose to be a vagabond or this or that. It's because you become a hindrance to society. That's the reason you get treated this way.
Yep.
Well, so we got to turn you from a hindrance to society to the benefit of society, right? Now,
Back in
I'm not saying you
that's-
just do street sweeps or anything else, but the problem is you're not just a hindrance to society; you're a hindrance to multiple individuals. Okay, you are bothering a lot of people. Now, if you're out of the way and nobody cares, fine. Then you're out of the way and nobody cares. The problem is that you're never out of the way. But there are alleyways where people live in alleyways. There's a reason alleyways exist. They don't just get magically, oh, look, an alleyway just sprung up here. No, there's a purpose from that alleyway. Normally it's because that's where they drive to drop stuff off, right? Or where the trash is collected and so forth, right? So you're always going to be in somewhere where I hate to say it, but somewhere you're not wanted, okay? No business wants to have homeless people bothering their customers. And I understand that you can say, well, these are poor people, they don't have anything else. Okay, well, I'll give them something else.
Well, and that's the thing. If you were just out of the way and it wasn't a hindrance to anybody, as you correctly said, no one would care. But clearly people do care, which clearly means you are hindering somebody in some way, shape, or form. So it's an issue that clearly needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
It's like if you just wanted to go off in the middle of the frickin' woods and pitch a tent and nobody knew you were there, nobody'd complain. They wouldn't even know you were there. They wouldn't give a shit. Now, if you walk over into the middle of the frickin' sidewalk and pitch a tent there, I have a feeling some people are going to take note of it, and some people are going to take exception to it.
Yeah, but Doku, think how much trouble you'd be if you're standing outside a girl's school and you pitch a tent.
Jim's right. What's worse is that these things, the people that are supposedly managing this group in New York, they're on the dole for like $500,000. Oh, we're taking care of the issue. You haven't taken care of shit. All these compassionate programs that they constantly talk about. These people are supposedly working to fix this problem. Not only are they never fixing the problem, right? They're being paid to not fix a problem.
Yeah.
Well, and so notice people talk about the homeless problem, but they very rarely talk about people who are vagabonds. And I would make the argument it's for a very specific reason. Vagabonds get up and move. They don't stay at one place for very long, let alone long enough to actually become something where the community says, like, hey, look, you need to move along. Like, no, they're always moving. That's the reason you don't hear about them. Whether they're trying to hitch a ride on a train car, or they're sleeping on somebody's couch, or they're playing music on the side of the street to get a little bit of pocket money so they can go do something. They're never just like, I'm gonna panhandle on the side of this freaking corner for the next like 2 months, pitch a tent in the alleyway. Like, you don't hear about that type of shit from vagabonds because they're exactly that. They're vagabonds. They're not homeless in the sense that we talk about this particular type of issue. And yeah, they might be druggies, they might be alcoholics, but they're not.
A work camp to sober up and get your documents in order and get a job. All right, it may work. And the reason for it is that the one thing that you need to instill upon these people, all right, let's be perfectly frank, the one thing that they desperately need is self-discipline.
Yep.
All right, that's not saying that it's going to work, okay, but at least you're giving these people who a chance, right? You're going out of your way to give them a chance. Because if you don't do it, the problem doesn't get better; it just gets worse. It will just spread. All right, let's go on to some other stories here. Does anybody care about Cuomo?
Did anyone ever?
All right, does anybody care about Sarah Palin running for Congress?
Again? Wow.
All right.
No.
Do you care what Mick Mulvaney has in common with Tim Russert or Chris
I
Matthews?
don't even know who these people are.
House passes marijuana legislation again, but with no clear path forward.
Why? I almost got interested then until you point out that there's no way forward. So no, not really. But is that the traitor? Can I see the traitor there? I can see the traitor.
The thing about
Oh, no,
the
traitor.
marijuana
Okay.
legislation, you and I had this discussion. Right? When it came to
Yeah.
marijuana, I don't really care. All right.
I don't give a shit either. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, and this is going to be a very quick, yeah, stop wasting money on shit that people are going to do anyways that is rather inconsequential compared to things like fentanyl. Take it away from the black market, take it off the streets, make it a legalized thing, tax it, regulate it. Boom, there you go. Whatever. Hey, I don't give a fuck.
And I'm assuming that none of you care about Biden commissioning a sub or a UN prosecutor urging a global arrest warrant for Putin.
Okay, all right. I'm kind of curious about that one. What the hell do you hope to accomplish by fucking issuing a global arrest warrant for Putin?
Well, I'm kind of interested in this Cawthorn debate that's going on.
Okay, I know what they can do when it comes to Putin. They're sending in Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Well,
Oh,
you
God.
know. Here, let's pull this up because Doku said he wanted to look at it. So let's take a look at this. Carla Del Ponte. Okay, Carla. All right. Ex-UN prosecutor urges global arrest warrant for Putin. Geneva. A former chief prosecutor of the United Nations War Crime Tribunals for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda has called for an international arrest warrant to be issued for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin is a war criminal, Carla De Ponte told the Swiss newspaper Le Temps, all right, in an interview published on Saturday. In interviews given to the Swiss media to mark the release of her latest book, the Swiss lawyer who oversaw the UN's investigations in Rwanda, or the UN investigations, in Rwanda, and the former Yugoslavia said there were clear war crimes being committed in Ukraine. Perhaps, but how are you coming back and saying Putin is the one that is the war criminal?
Well, let's be honest. You already stated exactly what this is about. It's trying to get people to sell the book. This is nothing more than advertising.
She said she was particularly shocked by the use of mass graves in Russia's war with Ukraine, which recalls the worst of the wars in the former Yugoslavia. Really? I hope never to see mass graves again. Hey, Miss Carla? Miss Cunt? If I may use the word, and I do. All right. Why don't you just go on over there and your happy ass fly to Moscow, put the cuffs right on him, all right, and take him over to The Hague? Why don't you just go out there and take care of old Vlad for us, all right, and bring him over there and bring him to justice, Carla. Let's see you strong, powerful woman. Let's see you, just demonstrate that strength. And while you're at it, you might want to have a stopover over in Beijing, where the Uyghurs' mass graves are all over the place, and talk about arresting Xi Jinping, okay?
Well, that's the thing. I get this is a push to try to sell a book. But you're going to push for the arrest of a leader of a sovereign nation for being a war criminal with a nation that's at war with another nation? Are you aware of the severity of actually what's going on? Because I guarantee you, if you try to do that, I think there's a second or third most powerful country, arguably an army behind them that might take exception to it. I mean, if you want to start a World War III, then by all means, be my guest. But this is pretty damn stupid.
Guys, Jim has an opinion. It was the Azov battalion shelling the Donbass area for years. Putin's actually in the right here. Opinions, please?
I don't disagree with them. Yeah, the Azov battalion has been shelling the Donbass region for years.
Areas, right? And the Donbass areas have a large majority ethnic Russians, right? So there's that aspect of this, right? But the reality is to invade and to try and attack Kiev. Okay, let's be honest. He tried to smoke Kiev.
Yeah.
The attack on Kiev was unjustified. All right, it was. I understand it's a war, and if you're going to go to war by moving even into the Donbass region, all right, you were going to have to deal with the fact that you were going to war. I understand that, okay, but you had to know that you were initiating combat. You were the ones initiating the attacks, okay, because that's the way it was. Now, if Zelensky had sat down to try and put a stop to this, but you got to remember, this all kicked off with the Crimea. All right?
Yeah.
And the fact is that Russia was not going to tolerate the Crimea, all right, being seized, all right, and being taken over, especially considering the fact that they didn't have to, because that's where they had already stationed tens of thousands of their own troops were already in the Crimea, all right, when they seized it. All they did is they just started saying, okay, we're putting up roadblocks and you're not going to stop us. That's really all they essentially did, is they said, move out. They were already there in the Crimea when they did that. And it's critical to Russian security that the Crimea stays in their hands. So from a security standpoint, what they're doing makes sense, all right, if you're strictly going to look at it. But that doesn't necessarily justify, let's be perfectly frank here. You sent the Chechens into the Kiev area. And now you're taking battalions, all right, from Syria and sending them in. Okay? We know what's going to happen here. Let's be perfectly frank.
We know what's going to happen, and it's not good.
All right,
it's
so
definitely not good.
You can say that Vlad has some reasons for it, and I don't disagree. All right. It's an unstable situation. I've said this before, though. This is a Russian civil war, all right? And we have no business in this, okay? We as the United States, all right? If you guys in Europe want to get involved, fine. I'm more interested in this, which pisses me off, all right? Cawthorn blames the left and the media after intra-GOP fervor over the sex and drug comments. Amid a burgeoning congressional controversy, Representative Manis Cawthorn on Friday blamed Democrats and the media for amplifying his comments that some of his fellow GOP members engaged in orgies and used cocaine. My comments on a recent podcast appearance calling out corruption have been used by the left and the media to disparage my Republican colleagues and falsely insinuate their involvement in illicit activities. All right, Cawthorn said in a statement without addressing the substance of his own comments directly. The left and the media want to use my words to divide the GOP. I will not back down to the mob, and I will not let them win. All right? Now, he has doubled down on some of this stuff. This guy's from North Carolina. And he basically outed these people. But one of the first things that I would do if I was Cawthorn, right, is I would just go, do you remember... Do you remember the waitress sandwich? Do you know what I'm talking about, Doku?
I can imagine how that works.
Right?
I don't recall.
Right? Yeah, well, that was a waitress sandwich was a description of certain activities being portrayed by or being enacted by Ted Kennedy, all right, and John Kemp. And it became known when the person who was the meat in the middle decided to go public. All right, of course she was a prostitute, but that's a separate issue. They would do this all the time. The idea that somehow these guys are doing drugs and having sex parties and everything else, I'm like, no shit. I just want to know who they are. You should have named them. That's one thing I do disagree with Cawthorn and everybody else. He should have outed these sons of bitches. And I don't care what party they were.
Yeah.
I mean, I live outside of DC. If you came to me and said, did you know they're having sex parties? There's cocaine and weed and heroin and this and that. Like, yeah, tell me something I don't fucking know.
All you have to do is go down the street to the local... porn shops, right? And see what the fact that they exist, which means they're doing business, number one, and see what they have. As they have all this freaking perverted crap like the dominatrix shit. And I just did a story the other day about some 65-year-old or 67-year-old, all right, who answered an ad, all right, in a sting operation on John's, all right, and he showed up in a French maid costume. on his bike.
Again, I'll put it to you this way because I can speak to this from personal experience. Just going into DC and walking outside to smoke a cigarette, a dude forgot his lighter and asked me for one, and I started talking to him. He ended up being I think it was a paralegal for like a super PAC or some shit. A political action committee. It was like, oh hey, come up. What room are you staying at? I'm like, I'm on this floor. Oh well, hey, you should come party with us real quick. And I was like, I don't have anything to offer. And he's like, I don't know, like bring you a lighter and a pack of cigarettes. Yeah, dude, it's weed, coke, questionable people walking in and out. That's just commonplace. Like the hotel doesn't even fucking care that they're smoking weed inside the room when it's supposed to be no smoking. And we're talking about a boutique hotel. Like, yeah, $500 to $1,000 a night hotel. And this is just normal. No one gives a shit.
Oh yeah, were these celebrities and everything stay? Okay, I can tell
Yeah,
you right now. A friend of mine worked.
I mean,
at
it's a Kempton hotel.
one of these
It's
really
a
high-end hotels, right? Where a band stayed, right? And the band, the party that the band threw, which was on the, I guess it was the top floor, right? They trashed everything. There was so much shit going on, right? But of course, they're getting paid to fix it all later, so it's not a big deal to the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from their standpoint, they don't give a shit, right? But these celebrities and everything else, you know that this kind of shit goes on. Everybody knows this kind of shit goes on. It's not a freaking secret. I just wish that Cawthorn would sit up there and start pointing these sons of bitches out. That's all.
I don't disagree. Like, if you know what's going on, like, if you want to grandstand and be like, hey, this is wrong, this is bad, blah, blah, okay. Well, point out who's actually engaged in it. Because, again, we know this isn't a fucking secret. Maybe some people are not aware that it's that commonplace. But, I mean, go anywhere in D.C. that's not, like, Anacostia, like, around, like, the Navy Yard or anything like that. But go stay at just a remotely nice hotel. And wait until 9, 10 o'clock rolls around and just watch what fucking happens. It's not. Oh yeah, especially on the weekends. Actually, it's relatively more tame because mostly everybody's just drunk. If you really want to see some crazy shit, go there between a Tuesday and a Thursday, because that's when either people are coming back in from out of town, especially when it comes to the super PACs and all the people who are not political figureheads, so to speak, where they don't have the type of visibility that you would expect. But the people that work for them, wait until those people come back into town. Again, usually, sometimes a Monday, but usually Tuesday, Wednesday would be the 2 days. And just wait until 10 at night and go stay at any bar that's remotely close to K Street. And just listen. Like, you don't even have to engage. Just go to a bar, sit back, and just listen to some of the shit that people talk about. You would be freaking shocked. I have heard some wild ass shit. Like if you think just sitting in a hotel room where some people are doing coke and smoking weed is crazy, nah. that is commonplace. Like it might as well be as common as somebody sitting on the freaking side of the street and smoking a cigarette at 10 at night. Because that's how common it is. Nobody gives a fuck. It happens that frequently.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the New York Post and see what they have. Anybody care about the sucker punched high school runner?
Blunt, okay. They're going to blame the white guy for attacking the black guy's fist with his face. And somehow it's going to be Trump's fault. You know it and I know it.
Let's be honest. Who cares about this in regards to as long as they take action, right?
Which they won't.
But it does show you the coursing of society, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. No, I don't care about the Mets. Couple says fertility doc mixed up embryos again.
Oh God.
Again.
Okay.
This sounds like Mr. Liability. This sounds like Mr. Lawsuit himself.
Yep.
All right.
Hello, Dr. Nick. Yep.
Bill Maher. Put a effing wig on. Unloads on Jada Pinkett Smith. The actress is lucky just to have alopecia.
Oh, that shit's funny. Holy crap. Twitter is pissed about that one. I think it's hilarious, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna do this one.
I gotta say, I don't really like Bill Maher, but some of the stuff he's been saying over the past couple of years, it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of warming up to the guy.
All right.
You know,
Time
you
Bill
say
Maher
that.
tackled the infamous Oscar slap Friday night with an eponymous.
Eponymous.
No, it's not eponymous. Eponymous.
Okay.
Hippopotamus?
It's nympho. Okay. Close cracking that Jada Pinkett Smith should thank God that alopecia is the worst she's dealing with. If you are so lucky in life that all you have to that be your medical problem, just say thank God. Mayor Maher, cracked to his guests. Attorney Laura Coates and former presidential and New York City mayoral candidate Andrew Yang. It's not life-threatening. It's a part for most people, 80% of men, 50% of women. It's a part of aging. Which, okay, that's true. All right, hair loss is true, but for women, alopecia has normally some kind of... I want hippopotamus for Christmas. Most women have hair loss due to stress. Okay, most young women. I've known women that have had alopecia that were only in their 20s, right? And it happened to them because their lives were a mess. They were just stressed out all the time.
Yeah.
Then she got a divorce and her hair came back.
Well, there's a sign.
Right?
I mean, if you're allowing yourself to get plied by whoever the fuck you want, your husband's okay with it. I can't imagine why you'd be stressed. Just saying.
Just put an effing wig on like everybody else does in the Oscars if it bothers you that much. Now, the reason I decided to go ahead and say, let's take a look at this story is, yes, especially men, all right, there's a lot of Hollywood men that are running around with wigs. Yeah. That are running around with hair pieces. That's an absolute fact. And there are people that you wouldn't even think about that had a hair piece. You would never have realized they had a hair piece. You know who one of them was?
Oh.
One of the stars in the past that had his whole he had been bald for a long time was Lauren Green.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
I had to pause for a minute. I remember he was the guy from Battlestar Galactica, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I saw an old Johnny Carson episode where they were talking to Mike Landon, mm-hmm. And he mentioned when he was on Bonanza, all right?
Wow.
All right, which was long before Battlestar Galactica, right? But when he was on Bonanza, they did a stunt where he went into Lauren Green had to go down into the water, right? In like a pool of water.
Yeah.
And he went down, but his wig floated on the top. Right? And he said, and Landon stayed down there for a good 30 or 40 seconds because he refused to come out until he found the hairpiece. He said, you saw this hand come out of the water as he was reaching around until he found the hairpiece. And put it on as he got out of the water. He said, you guys don't say saw nothing. Because he was, he didn't want people to know that he was bald.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about an industry where, let's be honest, looks are important. I mean, that's how you get your gig. Well, that used to be how it is. Now you can just sort of claim something and you get special or preferential treatment, but that's neither here nor there.
Or you could always just be Yul Brynner and not give a damn. Let's be fair.
Horrifying photos show
And honestly,
corpses in streets and mass grave in a Kiev suburb. Almost 300 people were buried in mass graves in Bucha, a commuter town northwest in the Ukraine's capital city of Kiev. Its mayor said on Saturday. Okay, folks, I'm going to tell you right now. It is horrific. All right, we don't know the circumstances of the people dying, but I will say this: this is also where they sent the Chechens in. Just putting it out.
Yep.
There. Right.
I can actually make this worse. All you need to do is point out that they weren't dead when the last shovel of earth was put on there. That's where you make it worse.
Wrong boyfriend arrested for murder of mom found dead by daughter. The gangbanger allegedly fatally stabbed his girlfriend and then slipped away to the scene. Then tried to throw off the cop's trail by reporting the killing himself. First suspect, new suspect. What do they have in common? I don't know. I don't care about that story enough to really go dig into it.
No.
Yeah, well, so you're going to put her in jail? FEC investigation found AOC campaign did not properly disclose expenses and gives her a pass. Why did you give her a pass? Because she's a Dem? Because she's a Dem leftist and would have squealed like a little bitch? You didn't want to hear her squealing? Yeah, well, what she did was wrong. What she did was a crime. I did not want to convict her. Or I might have seen something.
In all fairness, mate, they're probably nervous in case she thinks that they're trying to actually bed her. And the thought of turning over and waking up next to that is enough to make most guys want to chew their own arm off.
Well, what's your problem, Crawthorne? Was she one of the ones that was playing with the nose candy and you don't want to out her? You were trying to ride her like a horse? I mean, she kind of looks like one, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
Am I being a little too rude?
No, I've actually worked it out, mate. That's why she's joined the Democrats. She didn't actually join because she's a Democrat. She thought that was family when she saw the donkey picture. I thought, oh, that's where I'm going.
Despite the findings, the FEC's 6-member panel voted to dismiss a government watchdog complaint against the Congresswoman last night. All right, it shows. In other words, they found that what they did was illegal, all right? Because, now, listen what they found. They found that 2 political action committees, brand new Congress and Justice Democrats, did not properly disclose the purpose of the disbursements to similarly named shell companies set up by AOC's former chief of staff and during her first run for Congress. So in other words, all right, they violated election laws, right, by hiding the filthy money that this bitch was taking, the illegal funding of her campaigns. And then they turn around and go, but we're not going to pursue it. What the hell's the point of having these people?
It really surprised you, though. Appall you, yes. Surprise you, probably not.
It doesn't surprise me. Where have all the children gone? Chronic absenteeism in New York's public schools hits an alarming 40%. Because you told everybody the children are going to die of COVID if you put them in the classrooms.
I bet you won't actually get that thing for, what's it called? The Hollywood area. Where have all the children gone? Yeah, we know exactly where all the children are gone. Let's just not talk about it. Because let's be honest, you know, it's not like Hollywood has a bad reputation for grooming, now does it?
This piece of crap. This piece of flotsam.
Exactly.
Ketanji Brown Jackson chose leniency even in a baby sex torture cases. In an 8 child porn cases that came before her court, the former D.C. District Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson heard horrifying deals of sadomasochism, torturing of young kids, including infants and toddlers, all right, yet challenged the disturbing evidence presented by prosecutors and disregarded their prison recommendations. And you want to put this piece of shit on the Supreme Court.
Wow. Yeah, okay. If she gets in, sorry, dude, you lot deserve all you get. Okay? If that gets in, you deserve what happens. The poor kids don't, but...
Infants and children. Oh, no. We're not going to sit up there. I mean, he was just raping an infant. They were just torturing infants and toddlers. There's nothing wrong with that. Was that because the color of their skin was white, so it's okay to torture them? Is that what your idea is, Ms. Katanji? And I'm going to ask her that question.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that may well be the case.
I'm sure that it was.
Yeah. Dude. Look, I know England can't really say much. We've got the Rotherham issues that's going on. But that is not right on any level you can possibly imagine. She's being nice to these people and letting them off.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right, and it's one of the reasons why I keep calling for a convention of states, because then you can fire all these frickin' federal judges right now. Every frickin' one of these pieces of shit.
Yeah.
As part of that. You could get rid of them and start fresh. You'd be better off starting fresh.
Yeah.
I've often wondered something about Jackson being the Supreme Court nomination. I know people will say, like, trying to nominate somebody based upon gender and skin color is wrong. Okay, we can go down that rabbit hole a different time. What I'm more curious about is Biden telling us that he can't find a black woman who has a better reputation than this fucking piece of shit. Wait, why are you nominating this individual? Because of her esteemed record of letting pedophiles and arguably, not even just arguably, like just worse people? This is your pick? You're telling me you can't find anybody better? If I was a black woman, I would be very offended.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the case. I don't see any other stories. Did you see any stories that caught your eyes about this?
Nothing. I paused for a sec at the gun shooting bit, but apparently it involved music, so no, I'm not that interested, to be blunt.
It's just apparently this gun drummer is shooting pistols at a range, and
yeah.
Is that really news?
No.
No, this was. I'm just going to Washington Post. Let's see what's in Yahoo News, shall we? Over to Yahoo News. Okay, of course we start with Russia.
No, of course.
I'm not going to do anything like that.
Here's the news for Russia. It's a country. It's big. It's a country that's somewhere in Europe that's really big. Who did it remind you of at all? It's not like you'd ever have anyone in America that ever talk like that. My God.
Like our vice president does?
Yeah.
The passage of time is important, and when time passes, then that means that time is lost, and it's important that we pay attention to lost time, because lost time can never get gotten back, because the passage of time is something we need to pay attention to. And me talking to you like this is wasting your time, which is the passage of time, which should explain how important the passage of time is to you.
Anyway. Hi, Chris. How's it going? Just to let you know, we're doing something different. If you see, as we scroll through these different websites, right, a story that you want us to take a look at, we'll take a look at it. But in the meantime, we're just stopping at different ones. And we're now at Yahoo News. I'm doing something a little different today. And I'm starting at Yahoo News. And in this case, I saw the story, a pilot who lied about his flying experience to secure a job at British Airways. I want to see this one. All right.
Well then.
A pilot who lied about his flying experience to secure a job at British Airways was said to have been caught when he pressed a button no qualified pilot would.
Oh no.
A former British Airways pilot was jailed for fraud after admitting he falsified his flying experience. A source told the Times that suspicions arose when he pressed a button no qualified pilot would. The former pilot faked training certificates and falsely claimed to have flown over 1,600 hours, all right, as a captain. The former British Airways... Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally don't you, like, call people up to say, on your references, okay, to check to see whether or not this guy's qualified?
Normally, yeah. I completely agree.
Right.
You'd think.
I'm just kind of wondering this. All right, he was handed a 12-month sentence at Snaresbrook Crown Court in East London, the UK, on Monday after pleading guilty to 4 counts of fraud and 2 breaches of Air Navigation Order 2016, which regulates safety standards, according to the Civil Aviation Authority. Yeah, it would have sucked having this guy as your captain. I can tell you that right now.
Hey, just jump on this airplane. I'll fly it for you. I'll get you wherever you're going. You know what you're doing? Yeah, I promise. I have 1,600 hours of staying at Holiday Inn last night.
Between April 2016 and March of 2018, he was employed as a pilot by BA City Flyer, operating out of London City Airport. So at least he was qualified as a pilot. All right. But the now collapsed Irish regional, I know what's happening. I can just hear. I saw it already, Jenson. I saw your eyes rolling back in your head. I saw it. Let me start this again. All right. Operating out of London City Airport and the now collapsed Irish regional airline Stubart Air, which was owned by AER Lingus. Right? He was with each carrier for a year per court documents reported by the newspaper. Officials at BA City Flyer first became suspicious after an incident on the ground in Switzerland when the pilot pressed a button no qualified pilot would, a source told the Times without providing further details. Was that one dump the fuel? So you're on the ground and it's like, well, it's dump the fuel?
In all fairness, okay, one thing I do want to say in this guy's defence, at least he pressed said buttons while on the ground. Imagine if he had done this while flying. That would have made life sudden. Let's be fair.
Yeah, no, I can see this. When contacted by Insider, British Airways said that the pilot was fully qualified and certified. The case related to an incorrect information being provided in his references he provided during the application, the airline said. But you didn't bother to check? You didn't check any of these references?
This is why I prefer to drive rather than fly unless absolutely necessary.
The safety of our customers and crew is always our priority, and the fully qualified pilot was suspended, but he was fully qualified, according to you, right? And an investigation launched after, as soon as the BA City Flyer became aware of discrepancies in his employment record. You didn't check about the employment record ahead of time? At no point was there any risk to customers or colleagues. If he was flying at all, yes, there was.
I was gonna say, you're gonna sit there and tell us, like, oh, the safety of our customers is our top priority, but we don't vet our pilots. I'm gonna, I'll take bullshit for 500.
I kind of want to read this one now. I don't know how I missed this one. 74-year-old homeowner shoots 16-year-old in his Ohio house. He didn't belong here. Okay. 74-year-old homeowner is defending his decision after shooting a 16-year-old accused of breaking into his Ohio home. As soon as you said he broke into the man's home, bye.
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'm like, nope, justifiable. I'm sorry.
That's usually what happens. You break into somebody's house and they happen to be armed. It's like, well, do you want to be stabbed or do you want to be shot? Take your pick.
He said, I knew he didn't belong here. or he didn't belong here, and I knew after he came through the door like that I can shoot him.
Is he wrong?
There were probably a bit. You might. I can see why they're a little bit irritated with this guy. His choice of words
very
were-
poor
were
choice
not,
of words.
I had to shoot him. No, he said, I can shoot him. Like he was waiting for it. Come on in, little boy. Come on. Get the candy. Get the candy on the step of the door.
Again, that's probably not the way you want to word things. Not legal advice, but just say it.
When the officers arrived, they found the 16-year-old male inside the victim's home with multiple gunshot wounds. Guy's a better shot than the police are. The homeowner reported that the teen had forced himself into the home, and at some point during the ordeal, the homeowner confronted the teen and discharged his firearm, striking him multiple times. Well, that could have just been with a shotgun then.
Yeah.
Right. Police did not identify the teen or the homeowner. Right. What's he doing here? Jonathan, how do they know who he is?
In all fairness, dude, I mean, if it was a shotgun, he should just use dragon breath rounds. That would have dealt with all of the problem.
You don't need to be burning your own house down. That's it. He's a 74-year-old man. If the fire started in the house, that means he's burning down with it.
Yeah, but at least you won't get arrested. Just saying.
That's probably true. I pumped 2 into.
I love
it
when we play Vampire the Masquerade in real life.
That way, and I got a third one. I hope.
Wow, this guy has no chill.
But
again,
honest,
I would probably offer this.
And I hate to say this, but you deserve what you got.
Yep.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that point, but this guy might want to seek legal counsel in how you talk to the cops and do public statements and addressing these sorts of issues, because this is not going to look good in court. Like, you probably should have just kept your mouth shut in regards to this one.
I can't disagree with you there. Okay, let's see if there's any stories in here that we want to read. I don't care about the latest in Ukraine. India, claiming neutrality, purchases Russian oil while keeping up relations with the West. And that's kind of obvious. Hungarian leader with close ties to Putin's toes the line on war ahead of an election. Okay. Don't really care much about that. Goblin mode is becoming part of people's everyday vocabulary, language, and meme, as experts say. What the hell's goblin mode?
Wait, what?
No
Goblin
idea.
mode?
Okay, we're going to look
I don't know either.
I've never even heard of that.
Goblin mode is becoming part of people's everyday vocabulary. Language and meme experts share why. I've never heard of goblin mode. I'm kind of curious what goblin mode is.
Nomad, sorry, I need to pause you real quick. Meme experts?
Good point.
Is this a profession now?
Well, I mean, memes of destruction.
Wow.
It's too bad memes isn't here to tell us. We now know where he works.
Damn it.
We now know what he does for a living.
Oh, I should have seen that setup coming. I didn't. I apologize for my lack of foresight. But still, are you telling me that my wasted hours on the internet could actually pay off and be a lucrative career choice? I could be a meme expert.
A photo
am I like a pseudo fact checker now?
Yeah, basically. A photo edited headline described Julia Fox as going goblin mode. Now, some corners of the internet are legitimizing the phrase.
I've just got...
internet. What's this? The local frickin' laundromat? I mean... what the hell?
Yeah, dude, you need to be very, very careful with what you're about to say. There are two things with goblin mode. We hope to God they mean when you lose yourself so as you resort to becoming a goblin. Person 1, I don't really know who I am anymore. Person 2, looks like you're going goblin mode. Or, and this is the one you really don't want it to be, a variation of the cowgirl sexual position. Do I really need to go into any more details?
Oh no.
Oh god,
Okay,
it often
the
involved
term
grunting
goblin
and
mode began
occasionally
as a
manically
joke. A
laughing.
photo-edited headline falsely claimed that actress or actor Julia, why don't you call her actress? All right, actor Julia Fox split from her ex Yee, right, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, because he didn't like it when she went goblin mode. Right? Julia Fox opened up about her difficult relationship with Kanye West. He didn't like it when I went goblin mode. Right? The fake headline shared on a Twitter by user Meow 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 Mew
Nanny?
on February 15th. All right? Goblin mode refers to a person who is generally messy, like unshowered and acting feral due to laziness or an aversion to going outside.
Uh-huh.
Doku, did you come up with this?
I really wish I could take credit. I
You
really
long-haired
do.
hippie.
I if I could take credit for this, trust me, I would. I had no idea this was a thing. I think it's hilarious, but wow.
All right,
Yeah.
Um
all right. Due to laziness or aversion to going outside, has been used on sites like Tumblr and the Urban Dictionary for years. Really?
oh no. It,
But the recent
Time
Fox
I've ever
meme
heard that.
gave the term renewed momentum online. This cycle of a joke term entering the internet's vernacular and sometimes making the leap into offline vocabulary has become more and more common. New terms like chuggy, all right, are accidentally coined all the time in social media, like China. Oh god. Now I gotta worry about
Wow.
another freaking thing here. Goblin mode. I can hear it right now. Nomad went goblin mode all over that person.
Yeah. Okay, make sure you explain that you're not talking about the sexual position because there's a whole bunch of problems with that as a statement. Okay?
you know, I was kind of hoping that I would have a reason to use Goblin Slayer memes, and now I have the perfect excuse.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer. That's a, you want to talk about a dark freaking. Good morning, Seth. Or afternoon rather. Goblin Slayer is a very vicious comic.
Oh, I love Goblin Slayer. I'm not gonna lie.
This is a very vicious manga. I mean, it's something else. Right? It ranks right on up there with
Mhm.
freaking Berserker. Actually, it's actually better than Berserker, to be honest,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
I don't know. Berserk has a special place in my heart, but I'm
Well,
not.
Berserk
I
came
love
first.
Goblin
Let's be
Slayer.
honest. Berserk broke a lot of ground, right? But and it's unfortunate that the creator died, and he died young, fairly young. He was in his 50s, I believe. So it's unfortunate, but
I mean, to be fair, Goblin Slayer does provide us with a very strong solution to a lot of the problems that we're currently facing in our society. And it all happens at the end of episode one.
yeah. And he goes, it goes through a lot of welcome to reality.
I mean, again, they hold grudges, so yeah, there might be a good one, but the good ones just stay in the caves where they belong. So why am I gonna let the children survive? You know,
There might be one.
maybe if you look hard enough.
You know,
Now bring me my club.
wait. Some of the other later ones prove him right about that too, which is they keep that one going. COVID cases are down, but unfortunately, stomach flu outbreaks are up. Oh god.
It's a new
Oh,
thing. Yeah.
Just
here we
ignore that
go.
story. All right. In Disney, DeSantis
Yeah.
finds his corporate foil. Actually, in Disney, right, DeSantis has found his path to the White House.
Yep.
Yeah, again, Disney seems to have had a recently uncovered problem in regards to the trafficking of young children.
Yeah,
Yep.
they have some serious problems, especially with their their staff getting outed. All right, they did not
Yeah,
expect the
if
kind of feedback that they're getting now, and they got along. They're gonna have to do a lot to try and fix things. Because personally, I support fully the people who are boycotting Disney right
I mean, if I was DeSantis, I'd be looking at them too, because you guys seem to be pushing a very particular type of agenda that targets children. You own 2 theme parks, and well, where do children go missing more often than not? Well, theme parks happen to be close to the top of the list, if not the top of the list. And your staff seems to have a somewhat disturbing history of abusing children. This sounds like you guys might have some issues going on here that you don't want to address. Yeah, I'd be looking into them as well.
Okay. Gotta remember, don't say gay.
Oh, you mean the bill that doesn't actually say gay anywhere in the bill?
Yeah. The anti-groomer bill.
Let's see. So the who gives a shit category. DC meteorologist calls kids live on air to warn them of a tornado. Okay. Now, do you see a problem with this? Because I don't. Why is this even a story? Good man, taking care of his kids. Or am I missing something?
I do have a question. Is he calling his kids, or is it just calling kids?
His kids.
Oh, in that case, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Like, yeah, I'd be calling my kids too. Like, yo, get in the frickin' basement and lock the door. Like, there's a tornado coming. Like,
well, they should already be in the basement locking the door because they live in DC, but that's a separate.
Have fun.
Oh yeah, in DC it's not rare to have a basement, but it's. I mean, you should know already. You live in a major urban area. I'm pretty sure I actually probably know where that was. It's probably around the Tyson's City area. Because there was a tornado that touched down.
About COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Just to remind everyone that's listening,
from COVID infection are greater than from the vaccination.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean much to me.
Huh?
In other words, yeah, our vaccination can give you heart problems, but so can COVID. Okay, COVID's more likely to give you heart problems than the vaccination. Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure that, like I said, when they start parsing words, I don't care, because that's a parsed statement. Selena director Gregory Nava recalls an emotional journey in filming with Jennifer Lopez.
I mean, I started caring about dancing clowns.
What comes to mind?
Again, I started caring about dancing clowns the second that I got the opportunity to point and laugh at them, and I stopped caring about them the second that they stopped being funny.
This is a top story. Ukrainian soldiers find love during war.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And in the editor's pick, special report, scary to leave everything behind. Ukrainian refugees embark on a 15-hour train journey to safety.
Well, no shit, they're refugees.
All right. What do you mean it's scary to leave things behind? The fact is you're more scared of the people that are coming.
Yep.
I'm sorry I left behind my car, but I'm actually more terrified about having a frickin' 500-pound bomb drop next to my house. Yet no shit, Sherlock.
Yep.
Texas woman who said that a 3-year-old son was killed because of road rage is arrested. Do I really care to read that story?
If you want, but I have no interest in it, to be honest.
Unfortunately, yeah, I agree.
I think
it's a sad story, sympathies, but...
Let's see what ABC News has on top boat.
Mm-hmm.
Russia, okay.
Of course.
And
there's one story that I've...
Lawyers hope new evidence stops women execution. Now, that's not a story. That's a wish list.
Yep.
We hope new evidence stops it. If it was so, new evidence proves woman up for execution innocent. That would have been, I would have stopped and read that one.
Yeah.
Hey, if she was innocent, that'd be one thing. But I do have a question here, Nomad. How many sites have we been through now?
3?
Not a single mention of a very particular laptop that I feel like should be headline news on every single one.
That's very
Fair
true.
point.
We have yet to see a laptop story. Now we haven't gone into the Biden Delaware USS Delaware sub being commissioned, so maybe it's in there.
One
Hope
can
Solo
only wonder.
arrested on DUI, DWI, and child abuse charges again. Hope Solo, the woman who's the hope of the National Women's Soccer League, continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons.
And for the pair of you, okay? Let's pretend that you'd be willing to get in a submarine. Okay, I'm not saying you wouldn't, I'm not saying one, but let's just pretend that you would be willing to do this. Would you get in a submarine called the USS Joe Biden?
No.
No.
I will get
Wow,
in
could
the
you
submarine
say it
called
fast
USS
enough?
Delaware, because the submarines named for states
Yeah.
are ballistic missile subs.
Oh.
Right.
Ooh.
So they are commissioning a ballistic missile sub. These things are the top of the line everything. Right? They go under the water, and then they come back 6 months later, and then they come above the water. And they don't talk about where they went. They don't talk about the patrols they had. Right? I was talking to a submarine guy, right? That was on one of the Los Angeles class submarines. And the discussion came back with talking about it revolved around initially the Soviet subs and how quiet they became after Japan stabbed us in the back and sold the Soviets, all right, the new milling machines that we had created, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of the reasons why Reagan took Toshiba to task and banned Toshiba products from the United States for a year, right? All Toshiba products were banned from the United States for a year. It took them 2 decades to come back into the U.S. market. Okay?
Wow.
I mean, it was that ban was not a joke. Okay.
Okay. Respect.
All right, but I asked him how about that, and the conversation continued, and he mentioned, all right, that one time they went out, all right behind one of our ballistic missile subs, and he said as soon as they went down, we couldn't hear shit. We couldn't even hear them. we were afraid that we were going to hit them because we were behind them, right? we couldn't hear them in front of us. That's how quiet they were.
Okay.
Just it's really interesting with some of this stuff. Now the Soviets had a slightly different philosophy, especially when they created the Alphas, right? The Soviets, when they created the Alphas, their philosophy was, so what if you can't hear it? You can't catch it. Because those things would do 45 friggin' knots under the water.
Nice.
Yeah, they call them wolf packs for a fucking reason.
Okay, those things, they may have been noisy, but those things could flat out book. And what's more, it was complete titanium. A total titanium hull, right? Those things could go down a long ways under the water.
Yeah, and that was the whole point behind them. It's like they're quick and they can go deep. So as long as I can dive faster than you, go deeper than you, and outrun you, I win. Like, you can be as quiet as you fucking want. It's not gonna fucking matter.
Now the problem was though if you just at cruising speed, right? which wasn't 60, 45 knots, which is probably only around 15, 20 knots. All right, and an American sub was behind you. You wouldn't even hear the American sub. You may not even hear it launch the torpedo until the torpedo hits you.
Well, and that was the thing. It's kind of a strange strategy for submarine warfare where you want to be fast and aggressive, even if it means being loud. Yeah, that's great and all if you're on the attack and you know where the enemy is. But if your enemy is silent, which is kind of the whole point behind submarine warfare, well, I just have to shut everything off and wait for you to go past. and boom, like one shot, one kill, so to speak. It's not that much different than aerial combat if you really think about it. And so, again, bold strategy. I don't know if it's the right one for that type of combat.
Well,
Okay, how
there
about
was a
this for
different
concept, mate?
philosophy. They had created those. Let's be honest. The alphas were created for one purpose, and that was to take out U.S. carriers. To take out the U.S. carriers. To go in there to get into position to where they could launch torpedoes at the U.S. carrier.
Right? Oh yeah, they're hunter killers.
Right. So, I mean, it's an interesting. It was an interesting idea. Now the new Soviet subs, I don't know how good they are because I haven't talked to any of the people involved, but I am told that they've gotten a lot quieter. What did you send me? What did you send me?
She's seen it and it shocked her, so that makes it interesting automatically if we can get a reaction out of her.
I'll send it to you and you can tell me if you really want to do this story or not. How's that?
Okay. All right.
Actually, I have talked to a few submariners, and according to what they've told me, the new diesel engines that the Soviets are using, well, I guess we should just call them the Russian Federation now, since the USSR's collapsed. But apparently, they're a lot better than they used to be. Now, I don't know if they're going to stack up to what we have. I'd honestly be surprised if they could, but it's worth noting, I suppose.
Nomad, this will take about 10 seconds to do, so if you want to do it, go ahead. But trust me, it will take literally seconds.
Okay, give me a second here. We'll put this up. All right, Jenson. Ukrainian war ends with Putin ousted or killed by Russians. Ex-UK spy chief. Christopher Steele, are you freaking kidding me?
There it is.
Freaking kidding me?
God.
The man who created the Steele dossier. I'm not doing this story. Screw this.
I told you seconds. No one believed me. I did say it'd only be a few seconds.
Just hearing that name, that name will forever be synonymous with full of bullshit, full of fucking lies, should not be taken seriously, and go pound fucking sand.
I'm glad somebody else is picking up that phrase. I like that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've gotten a lot of use out of it. And the only thing I like more is go mop rain.
Years at Guantanamo. Did they send him home in a box? That's how they should have sent him home.
Huh?
Okay, I'm just looking for another story that I kind of want to read. You see anything you want to read?
Nothing that's jumping out at me, unfortunately. It's a really bad day for news, isn't it?
There doesn't seem to be a lot
going
on, unfortunately.
Jim asked.
Sarah Palin. Why does somebody want to talk about Sarah Palin? If Sarah Palin gets into Congress, that'll be fun. Right?
Jim asked, did you see... sorry, real quick. Jim asked, did you see the article that shipyards were using substandard steel in USN submarines? I did not.
Nope.
I did not see that story. If you have that story, send it to me.
Yeah. By the way, just to give you a really terrifying thought, Donald Trump and Sarah Palin as president and vice president.
No.
Right there, that is the proof. That is the perfect mix.
Yeah, that's a hard pass. That is a hard pass.
Well,
and no,
it
is not a pun.
With a microphone in front of the dais. I'll be honest with you. If Sarah Palin hasn't passed up a microphone that's ever been put in front of her, all right, she is not a wallflower in any stretch of imagination. I can see her fighting.
Don't get me wrong.
Trump at a podium going, "It's my time to talk. Shut your ass up, freaking misogynist."
Don't get me wrong. I don't dislike Sarah Palin as a person, but I despise her as a politician.
You want to know what I really despise about Sarah Palin, right? is,
Go.
with all due respect to all the other characteristics, her voice is so freaking whiny. It's like chalkboard. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Okay.
I mean, she says some of the wildest shit, so she's amusing as hell for me.
Hey, I don't mind.
But I definitely don't want her in power.
I don't mind her commentary. I really like your commentary, to be quite frank. It's just that it's with that voice, and that voice is shrill, in my opinion, and it's like, ugh. That's the only thing I really don't like about her. But I don't look, if you make it, if you get back in Congress, if you get back in the Senate, or if you get back in as a congresswoman, good for you. MSNBC, of course, starts with Ted Cruz's January 6th ties are worse than we thought. It's not even worth me going into. All right.
I can make the Sarah Palin thing worse. Just imagine a debate between her and Camel Toe.
Why? Why would you even suggest that, Jenson?
Because it would be funny as all hell, and you know it.
It would be funny, but at the same time, it's not worth how painful it would be.
Oh, come on. Attempting to work out what they were saying would be worth it.
I don't want to hear a frickin' crow debate a hyena.
Look at this. The real reason the GOP doesn't want kids to learn about the evils of white supremacy. Really?
Okay, you know what? I'm curious. What type of bullshit partisan spin can they put on that one? I am actually legitimately curious.
Yeah.
The Census Bureau can't get the population count right. Guess who's going to pay? Really? Well, maybe the same people who have been hiding the number of people. Just putting it out there.
Politicians who are going to lose fucking House seats based upon the population of illegal immigrants that shouldn't be here in the first place, because that's how we determine shit. And people, this is something I like to point out. People think that they want illegal immigrants here because they're going to vote. No, they just want to increase the population number so they can increase their House seats. It's more nefarious than they let on.
All right. Mm-hmm. Lawrence, McConnell knows that the evidence against Justice Thomas is damning. No, it's not. Because the evidence against any of these people. Oh, really? Then why don't you tell us what it is, Lawrence? Why don't you tell me what the
I was going to ask, what evidence? Are we talking about opinion and conjecture, or do you have actual fucking evidence?
They were saying that the election was wrong, and they had no right to say that. Okay. That's just stupid.
Yeah, again, that's not evidence. That's opinion and conjecture. That means absolutely nothing. So, moving on.
And so why are you doing that, Lawrence? What did you find Biden's laptop yet? Well, you're still worried about Trump. Did you find Biden's laptop? Have you discovered that? Have you looked at that yet?
You know, I still find it funny that the head of the FBI at the time can come out and say that Clinton's server was illegal, but they won't do anything about it. It's like, so you're telling me that somebody can commit a felony act and is a threat to national security, but you won't do anything about it?
Yes.
But you want to bitch to me about Trump. Okay.
Ukraine regains control of the whole Kiev region because the Russians pulled out. The Russians realigned so they could pound the holy shit out of the southern Ukraine. Right? Let me know when you stop that movement of the Russians in the southern Ukraine. Don't get me wrong. This is actually a positive step in a way. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm not overly impressed. Russia says it will end cooperation on the International Space Station. Don't care. We never should have made a deal.
I mean, do we really need their
on the ISS?
I was gonna say,
the truth of the matter, we never should have sit up there and ever given anything over to the Europeans or, all right, to the Russians with the help of that. We should have told them to go. I
was gonna say, did we need them?
We'd been better off.
No. Yeah, did we need them to begin with? Why? We should just have had our own. If Europe wants to make its own space station, let them do it.
Actually, you mentioned something. There's that which leads to an interesting discussion. Right. Why did we get involved with the Russians with the ISS? Do you know why?
No,
I have no
don't.
idea.
It was
I'm assuming
part
it's
of the
keep an
deal.
eye on them.
All right. When the Soviet Union fell, everyone was terrified about what to do, what was going to happen with the Russian nukes. All right. People don't understand this, but the Russian nuclear forces, all right, existed in the Ukraine. They existed in Kazakhstan. They existed in Belarus. They existed in all these different republics that were being recreated. All right. And Russia, when it collapsed, or the Soviet Union, when it collapsed at the time, was starved for cash. Okay, and the people initially, people forget this. Initially, there was a lot of people came to the United States from Russia. Why? Because they couldn't survive. They couldn't live over there because the conditions for a short period of time had gotten that bad. And so what we did is we agreed to pay them money, all right, for services to the ISS. It was a way of preventing the Russians from going through a total collapse by giving them, okay, here's a lifeline to this. We're going to give you money. And we gave literally billions of dollars to the Russians, all right, in the form of saying, okay, you can fly our astronauts and so forth. That's why we did it. It was so they could maintain control, at least, of their nuclear arsenals, if nothing else. Now, do we need them now? No, we don't need them. As far as I'm concerned, let them go. Let them go back to Earth. And take the German and kick him back into the Soyuz capsule. You guys go with him. We don't need any of you. That's what I would do. Personally. Mm-hmm. Hell, Elon Musk. They asked Elon Musk. Well, can we? If the Soviets leave, if the Russians leave the space station, who's going to save it? And they said, SpaceX. You mean you can go up there and save it? He said, yes. Well, Elon Musk is like, I did a whole space station. Look at this.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not worried about it. Is Cawthorn gonna survive? I'm talking physically. Yeah, unfortunately he is. But the problem is that I have with Cawthorn is Cawthorn needs to sit up there and start outing these sons of bitches. Just my opinion. So let's see here. Grammys. Anybody care about the Grammys? I don't. Third to spend.
Wait, the Grammys happened
right away. Okay, no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Garland faces growing pressure as January 6th investigation widens. In other words, we can't find anything. We need to find something to stick on Trump. We're going to sit there and continue this until we find something. Yeah, but Garland's under pressure? No, Garland's not under pressure. Garland's under pressure, right? Because there's a Hunter Biden laptop sitting there, all right, and it's a hot potato, and it's in his lap, and he can't get rid of it.
You know, you think they would have learned from the Mueller investigation, but apparently not.
They still, they succeeded. They got rid of the Orange Man. You got to understand, they think that was a success.
Oh, yeah, dude, we impeached Donald Trump. And also acquitted him, and he still served out his term. So, yes, great success.
Civil War history explains meme stocks? What the hell is this?
What? Okay, I'm curious. All right, click on this one. This should be good.
How Civil War history explains meme stocks. In 1861, Jay Cook, a minor money man hoping to help the Union Army, lobbied Abraham Lincoln's government to make investing accessible to more Americans. In 1972, Bill Gross, destined to earn the name the Bond King, realized that more value could be squeezed out of the products that Cook wanted to sell, government bonds, if they were traded by experts. And in 2021, a Reddit user named Roaring Kitty led a band of regular Joes to crusade against the financial engineers of Mr. Gross's ilk. Okay, I'm still trying to understand how this really has anything to do with Jay Cook, aside from who Jay Cook was. Do you know who Jay Cook was, Doku?
I have some knowledge, but not anything worth talking about.
Okay, what about you, Jenson? Have you ever heard the name Jay Cook?
No.
Right? Jay
Sorry.
Cook. Jay Cook is known in the United States as one of the railroad barons.
Oh, robber barons. Gotcha.
Yes, he was one of the robber barons in the railroads. That's what he's known for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Him. There are several others, but that's where I know Jay Cook's name from. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he was, one of the things that they wanted to build, of course, were railroads all around, during the Civil War to help to do the Union, right? And that is the arc of U.S. economic history. It helps explain why people are calling me a puppet on the internet.
Well,
At least that's how I came to understand it. At first, all I knew was I was facing intense backlash from Roaring Kitty and the company after I wrote about the evolution of what they and other smaller retailer investors believed. The baseless theory that powerful entities were out to get them and to take their stocks.
that is
baseless?
That is
baseless. I don't think you can call it baseless.
Oh boy.
Well, Doku, can they call
I could talk about this one.
Is it true that it's baseless, or is he a lying sack of shit?
Oh gee, let me let me go ahead and kick back in my seat real quick because who's the author of this article?
I'm trying to find out right now. Maybe it's at the end. No, they don't. They don't give a byline.
Oh gee, I wonder why. So baseless. Well, it's kind of funny that all of these retail investors, people like myself, have been able to go through and see what happens in the dark pool, see what strategy hedge funds implement, and see just exactly how big money and finance plays a role. Not not just in the sense that people would traditionally believe it to be done, but even people that would talk on, say, Fox Business or people who write for article or outlets for, say, like Seeking Alpha or CNBC. It, but yes, we're the ones who have baseless accusations when we can also look at groups like Crisdale Capital that write baseless, and I mean provably baseless, articles that try to scare people who don't know what the fuck they're doing out of their positions because they're already short on those positions, losing money on them, so that they can try to buy them back cheaper so they can cover their ass. Oh, but it's baseless. We can see your short positions. Fintel is a thing. I can see who and what and when and how much you are short on a particular position. It's not like the AMC and GME apes, of which I do not hold a position in either stock at this current moment in time, but they managed to bankrupt 3 fucking hedge funds. But yes, it's baseless. We're just simpletons. There's no large financial conglomerate. There's no conspiracy theory. There's no reason that we're trying to shake people out of stocks. But yet you have the fucking moronic idea to write an article like this because you think we're fucking stupid. Go get bent, you fucking moron.
Okay.
I could go on for a long, long time about this one. So I'll just sum it up in as quick and concise a way as possible. It very much is based in reality, because if it wasn't, you dumb shits wouldn't have gotten bankrupt by a bunch of fucking people on Reddit, you stupid fucks.
And what's more is you wouldn't have tried to change the rules to prevent it from happening again.
Goku, why don't you just tell us how you really feel? Don't hold it back, mate.
Oh, you think that's bad? I could really go on.
Here's another story. I gotta do this one. Study: cat owners better looking, have more sex. Really? We're gonna have to take a look at this one. Oh, because I want to know who funded the study. Right?
You wonder why it is I've been suggesting cat girls. Just saying. Just saying.
Cat owners are seen to be better looking and have more sex, research suggests. A study found women infected with a parasite commonly caught from moogies, all right, had 63% more flings. In other words, they were sluts and they were diseased sluts. Is this what you're telling me?
First of all, the word is moggy. It's another word for cat.
Okay. They were also slimmer and seemed to be healthier. Well, sick people are generally thinner. All right? These parasitic people, these people infected with a parasite, seem healthier. Really? For anorexic victims? I'm just putting it out there. Both men and women carrying the bug Toxoplasma gondii, all right, were perceived as more attractive. Scientists believe the tiny parasite subtly honors the host's behavior, possibly through effects on key hormones to increase the likelihood of being passed on. Having more sexual partners will this is talking about disease spreaders like AIDS. Holy shit.
I'm not even sure what to say about this one.
Previous animal studies showed it leads to behavior. It could explain why. Don't you have cats, Goku?
He got 4.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have 4 Maine Coons.
All right. Previous animal studies showed that it leads to behavior changes like making infected rats unafraid of cats so that they will get eaten and pass it on. Do you feel like being eaten, Goku?
I have absolutely no desire to be devoured by any creature, so no. I don't desire to be
These guys
the Kodiak Grizzly Man 2.0.
adults, and then some say they also weigh 10% less. I'm sorry, but that's not. What is this thing? This is not a cat.
Wait, so is this article trying to tell us that owning cats is the new fad diet plan?
Yes.
It's an interesting. I want to know who wrote where the study came from. Does it say anything about where the study came from?
Having trouble losing weight? Just go out and pet a stray cat and hope it scratches you.
All right. Lead researcher
Tetanus shot not included.
Boraz Leon of Finland's University. Okay, thank God it's not. Thank God it's not the U.S. taxpayer that's wasting money. It's Finn's taxpayers.
I do know what he's talking about though, because there is a bacteria that grows underneath a cat's nails or claws, whatever you want to call them, that does have similar effects like what you would expect from someone who has a tapeworm or something like that involved. But it's not common. It's actually relatively rare, and it doesn't have the way this article is framing it is really bizarre, because you would essentially have to deal with cats not just on a daily basis, but I mean you'd have to be getting scratched on a daily basis, and cats also groom themselves.
Are you saying you gotta go to the point where you're licking up hairballs out of your own body?
Basically for this to be a thing is you would have to be getting scratched by a cat after it having just left the litter box, and on a consistent basis. Because that's where this bacteria comes from. Again, cats groom themselves for a fucking reason. I know what this article is referencing, and it's horribly misrepresented.
All right. Well, we gotta get to the next one. Why so many middle-aged women are on antidepressants? Let's see why so many middle-aged women are on antidepressants.
I can take a guess, but it has absolutely nothing to do with particular political ideology that might or might not result in somebody having a lack of fulfillment in their lives when they hit middle age and they can no longer have children. But that's just my opinion.
We're going to have to archive this here.
Yeah.
In order to be able to read it.
Oh, and by the way, just to be fair, that applies to older men as well. Just making a point, once you start hitting a certain age and you start worrying about legacy and what you could have done with your life, yeah, when you're 20, 30, sure, it's fine. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna buy that house and get that Porsche and maybe have a second house and a beach house. And then by the time you hit 50, 60 and you realize, oh, gee, I have nothing to pass my legacy on to, is that strong independence really worth it? I mean, you
For
can't take it with you
years,
now, can you?
for years, middle-aged women have had some of the country's highest rates of antidepressant use. Now scientists are starting to better understand why and to develop more targeted treatments for the women's midlife depression because we got to move it to earlier so that these depressions become we got to get them while they're young.
Oh, yeah.
About 1 in 5 women ages 40 to 59 and nearly 1 in 4 women ages 60 and over, all right, used antidepressants in the last 30 days during 2015 to 2018 according to the latest data from the National Center for Health Statistics. Among women 18 to 39, the figure was about 1 in 10. Among men, 8.4% of those aged 40 to 59 and 12.8% of those 60 and older, all right, used antidepressants, all right, in the last 30 days, according to the NHCS. Now, stop right there. Let's stop right there. Okay, first thing to ask. Why did you change your reporting methodology here?
But I have 2 other questions.
Uh-huh.
How many have kids, and how many are married?
Oh yeah, no, that would be a good question. Okay.
Yep.
But this starts with, okay, you say 12% for men. Okay, 13% for men. Okay. Now, why did you not use a percentage for the women? Because you said 1 in 4. Because you said it's nearly 25%. In other words, at twice the rate. Twice the rate.
Well, and again, notice how this changes from young women to older women, and it goes up exponentially.
Yep.
I can only imagine that the correlation has to do with one of 3 things. And I've already mentioned marriage, and I'm going to imagine that the older you get, the higher the divorce rate is going to be. And I would garner a guess that these 1 in how many probably don't have kids, probably aren't married, which would lead to depression, as it would for me as a male. If I get into my 60s and I don't have a wife and I don't have kids, I would probably be depressed as well. I'm just going to be blunt about it. The other thing I would have to wonder about is, okay, no wife or no husband, no children. What have you actually done with your life, though? Because it does come to a point where you can't go back on it. You have exhausted your time, and more women, more so than men, youth is highly valuable.
Listen to this stupidity. Valerie D. Martin, 59 years old, says she fell into depression in 2020. She was dealing with sleep problems, the stress of the pandemic, and a move with 2 teenage children, all right, from the family's longtime home in California to Texas. An avid exerciser, she says she was also feeling sad to see her body changing in ways she felt she couldn't control. Welcome to old age! Okay?
See, that was exactly what I was just going to bring up. Women tend to care more about how they look, youth, age, things like that. Takes a negative toll. I mean, for guys, at least all the guys that I know, don't really give a shit about the way they look once they get past a certain age. It's like, yeah, I get it. I'm past my prime. I don't really fucking care.
Well, it irritates you, but not though. It doesn't lead to you being depressed about it because there's literally an acceptance of, look, you can't do anything about aging. Okay, it's going to happen. All right. The thing that gets me is this next statement. I went through a life-altering move. Okay. It's a life-altering move to move from California to Texas. That one I can believe because she went from freaking La La Land, La La Loonville to Texas, where people are going, are you stupid? And they're looking at her and asking her, were you stupid? Right? I bet she's never had anybody ask her that question before. Are you stupid?
Yeah, you went from the land.
My kids were angry with me. All right, really?
Your kids
really
were
think
angry
that
with
the
you.
kids were happy about the fact because you brought them up as loony leftists, and now they're being shown that everything that they learned in lefty Lululand, all right, has been a lie because now in Texas, no one sits up there and caters to their every freaking whim.
You went from the land of there's 57 genders to I don't care what fucking gender you are, pick up a gun, we have a hog problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, hold it. It's Texas. The only hog problem you've got is not enough bacon, and you know it.
That's the reason we go take care of the hog problem, because we also have a bacon problem. There's not enough of it.
Mrs. or Ms. D. Martin, who works in the home remodeling in Frisco, Texas. She says she didn't seek therapy or take antidepressant medication. She says she has coped by reaching out to friends and family and staying busy at work, and is also planning to try hormone replacement therapy because adding drugs makes life so much better.
You've got to be joking. This isn't a Babylon Bee article.
No, this is from the Wall Street Journal.
So, I'm a middle-aged older woman who's depressed, and I'm going to address my depression with hormone therapy. Just saying, I don't think that's a good idea. Trust the science.
In recent decades, doctors speculate that the antidepressant use among middle-aged women is being driven in part by reluctance of women, many of their physicians, in recent decades to use hormone replacement therapy for menopausal symptoms. Now they give a reason why. In 2002, a large study in Women's Health Initiative was stopped after women taking hormone therapy had an increased risk of breast cancer, heart attacks, and strokes. So you think that the doctors kind of made the right decision on this one?
Yeah.
Again, maybe we should not try to treat depression.
Well, don't that kill me? But it's better. You'll feel good about yourself.
Oh, and if I'm correct, women going through menopause and postmenopause is directly related to how much hormones your body produces. Maybe we shouldn't, in this particular case, try to take the proverbial treat fire with fire route. I have a feeling that might make it worse.
I think estrogen doesn't just make women crazy. Because these idiots that sit up there and say that I'm a woman and then take estrogen treatment, all right, turn out to be crazier and crazier. I think estrogen is how do you lose your mind therapy. I'm not a doctor. It's a joke, folks. It's a joke.
But I mean, on a serious note, your body's already going through, I mean, a strong hormonal change, and with women, it's arguably as severe, if not more severe, than what you would go through in puberty. So we're going to treat it by putting your body through or forcing your body into a state that it naturally is not supposed to be in based upon hormone therapy. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Just throwing that out there. I mean, I'm no doctor. This is not medical advice, but I'm just saying if your body is naturally saying, no, we're not going to produce the same type of hormones in the same amount that we were back when we were 18, 19, 20, but now you're 60 and it's like, let's jack you up with the same amount of hormones that you were when you were 18, 19, 20 to solve your depression issues. Doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
I agree. All right. Guys, if we want to make this the last one, so do you have another story, or do we want to continue to absolutely taking the mickey out of this?
No, I think we're done with even this story too. So I think we're done for the day. I don't think there's anything else that I see on here that I really want to talk about, unless you do.
No, nothing has jumped out and bite me. Trust me, I would have said. Okay. Well, in that case, thank you, the pair of you, for being on here. Thank you for turning up, Doku. And thank you for listening to this absolutely insane conversation. Now, don't forget, every so often, Nomad wants to do these shows where we actually interact with the audience. How about a bit more audience interaction, people? Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good coin.